Everyone, in this video, I want to briefly share Tadao Ando's life and project, which are meaningful for people studying architecture since it will give you a kind of different perspective about postmodern architecture. In this semester, in February 2021, I could get a chance to attend his online lecture and listen to his life, how he got into the field of architecture, and about his memorable project. That was an amazing experience of my life, and let me share with you all. So, in 1941, he was born and raised in Osaka, Japan. In 1958, he became a pro boxer at the age of 17, and he traveled around the world cities as a pro boxer. While he traveled, he could see various styles of architecture from ancient Roman style to modern international style. Those are pretty different from Japanese style of architecture, and he was fascinated with building design through first-hand experience. However, he could not afford for university, so he learned architecture through self-study. He studied 15 hours a day, read abundant textbooks about architecture, visited and drew buildings because tools for studying architecture is everywhere. We are all surrounded by buildings. We are living in a house. We can learn about a wall, a roof, etc. from those buildings for daily use. And in 1969, he opened his own studio in Osaka at the age of 28. And in 1973, his first project, Tomishima Detached House, was completed in Osaka, and the majority of his projects are also in Osaka. And those are some example buildings, and those are very coherent, like Tadao's style of architecture as one of genre, and the characteristics of it might be monolithic, minimalistic, very geometric, and monumental. Those words might be adjectives to describe the style and also closely related to nature. During the online lecture, he said he was inspired by Le Corbusier, the Pantheon, Kenzo Tange, who is the architect of Yoyogi National Stadium in Tokyo. We are all familiar with them, and maybe we can even find some influences in his projects, like a level of complexity or simple geometry. And if I add one more word to his style, I would like to say sustainability in urban scale. And the Naoshima project is all about nature. About 30 years ago, the island was buried because of the polluted air and water from an industrial area, but the site is historically significant place, and the project team, including Tadao Ando, planted trees to revitalize the environment. After that, Chichu Art Museum was constructed in 2004 as a site rethinking the relationship between nature and people. The museum was built mostly underground to avoid affecting the beautiful nature scenery, and the web lighting come through the ceiling into the exhibition room changed the appearance of artworks, and the ambience of the space itself depends on the sun orientation and angle. The smooth white stucco wall is gently reflecting the natural light, and there are no artificial controllable lights, so the museum closes before the time of sunset. So, originally the construction site did not have beautiful nature, even polluted, but he believes he has a responsibility to creating a public space as an architect and spent 30 years to revitalize the site. Now, the island is well known as the center of contemporary artworks and postmodern architecture. And next project is Nakanoshima Children's Books Forest, which is latest project, and he designed the surrounding urban environment as well as the architecture itself. I actually went to this library last year, and I realized this space is very human-centered architecture, especially for children. For instance, space under staircase are usually treated as dead space, but he utilized the space as a secret room for children since it is too small to be for adults. He also designed niches in the bookshelf, and the children can use the niche as a bench or as a desk to read books. And children can go outside with books and enjoy the surrounding nature because the site is located next to the river and cherry blossoms. In fact, those trees were also planted by Tadao Ando about 20 years ago to create beautiful city of Osaka in his hometown. However, originally, the construction site is at the center of business district, so he closed the road in front of the library and made pedestrian street for children's safety and safety purpose. So he designed architecture and urban city at the same time for visitors. The final one is not in Japan, but it is in New York City. This is a residential space for New Yorkers celebrating being and living in New York. And he speaks about the structure as a living space should be a sanctuary. It has to be a place where you can reflect on your life. When one arrives home, there is a very tranquil feeling. This project is about that. In this case, oh, so every time he has a clear vision of function and how to achieve it. And he also said, my objective is to design a space that nobody else can come up with while using the material that anyone can use. In this case, the material means concrete. So here's a video talking about the use of concrete in this residential building. So I encourage you to watch after this one. And concrete is kind of very widely used material in architecture, but his way of using it is very iconic, delicate, and beautiful, while others use it as urban cold industrial material. So, as a Japanese architect, he said, the essence of Japanese architecture is inseparable from nature. When you look at Japanese traditional architecture, you have to look at Japanese culture and its relationship with nature. You can actually live in a harmonious, close contact with nature. This is very unique to Japan. And he also achieved harmony with nature and surrounding cities in other parts of the world. As a student, we usually see architecture as a structure, but he sees architecture in city scale to create public gathering space for community. His design is very human-centered and sustainable, even if it is made out of concrete. And those are the links I used to create this video. Thank you for watching.